If only I could hold them for 1,000 years. I would let the beetles crawl in my open palms, as if wandering through bowed lotus petals, porcelain wings clapping. We are not afraid. I would let their storm-slicked shells peck at my porous skin, enchanted by the scent of pomegranate and honey. I'm sorry, evaporates from every leaf finger, encouraging them to dance. Continue searching for one speck of pollen. If only their eyes remained distracted, they could keep filling their mottled bellies, and I would let my body turn to stone. Being shadow for my brother. On the off chance that you might let me in, I agree to sit compliantly at the head of your bed. Agree to have the dodgy controller. Hope to play our relationship on fast forward for a while. Parkouring to an arcade soap opera theme. You batter the buttons. I feel ringing in my ears. When my spin jump doesn't make it, you turn to look at me for the first time. You're straight into rolling attack, but I am sat behind, remember? Your aura. I would sacrifice everything. Maybe. We hit chaos control. Suddenly you are sat between my two kids, showing them how to spin jump, quick step rivals. They may be the wind, but we are closer than you know. Labour. 1. She lay on stiff white linen, sleeping, head lolled back, palms loose in surrender. Kept warm for days by the pastel-dotted nightie, buttons now undone. All that potential. When she stirs, everyone is looking, even her dad. She is jammed behind her own eyes, jailbird of a romantic myth shown in photos that never looked like this. Her body backfires into flamenco. She doesn't know flamenco. 2. By day 4, 5, she was rammed into another room. They tried to get a line in whilst dancing. Why? They tried to push down with a mask. Why? Bright light stung the back of her eyes. Hormone drip, gas and air. Drip, breathe. Drip, drip, breathe. 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 What came first? What's bleeping? Something forced. Her eyes closed. How much time? Before she sat up, static charged, Green, no. Black, sick, shooting, flooding the linens, turning pastels to mud. 3. No one moves, no one hears. As if hypnotized, she lifts and twirls, lifts and twirls. She is caught on a riptide, capsizing, sliding, head lolled back, palms loose. Immediately after, the terrorists set off their bombs. When you were small, you would press your toes into the sand, wiggle them, enjoy the grittiness. You would race to scoop it up, falling away through all your fingers, heap it up onto your bodies, press your downy legs together, pack it down tight till there were no more legs, only the torsos of gods emerging from 1,000 years of seesawing sea on rocks. Then you'd kick up those legs, whose I couldn't tell, tentacles flailing, shaking off tails, leaving fine sandpapery skin. How to save that skin now? I will lie you both down softly in the tall grasses that speak like waves. I will press your downy legs together, clasp your hands so you know you're safe. You have each other. And then I will pluck the strands of green that remind me of rain. I will pluck the foxgloves, the buttercups, wild geranium, even dandelions. I will pull this posy together, scatter it over your cold, church-like tombs. I will dress you, bathe you in apple green, dewy leaves. I will let little crawlies find the nooks and crannies of you both. Make friends with your pixie nose, your dimpled chin. When only your heads remain, I will crown you both with daisies. Close your eyes, kiss you in turn, then let the blossom-filled branches touch your faces, hide them. With time you will sink into the soil, soothed by its silt. I will pack down tight till there are no more legs, not even the torsos of gods. Then I will give in to the sun. Let the blood-red sky eat me. When summer wouldn't stop, I remembered. Someone once told me the globe was gutted and breaking, and I thought that was scary, a cruel destiny. Somehow, though, it was beautiful because someone loved enough to notice. What was I supposed to do when the ground went hard, cracked, lost its colour, lost its lives? I couldn't stop a fate from coming. I didn't have the power to command the clouds and stem the bleeding. I tried to rustle up the atmosphere, but then the sand came and violet, candy floss, marshmallows. After the scrangled screeches we thought were thunder, a reverie. Shushing dust settles into a crap, clouded dark. You heard white pulsing before it leapt in the air. After, we shelter in soft shadows, listening for your hollowing clear. Billy owl, Jenny owl, willow owl, gilly white barn owl. My ears dissolve in wanderer's delight, sedated by your still speculation. Silhouettes reveal what day conceals. Bodies exploded, fierce operas of light. Monkey-faced, silver owl, steeple owl, billy-wise barn owl. Huddled in groves once green, fireworks fade and sleep. Dappled with whispers of your heart-shaped face, sunburnt hills cease wailing. Dobby owl, hobby owl, hobgoblin, ghost owl, barn owl. Nothing cries when the spirit feels. Golden owl, banshee, church owl, death owl, barn owl. Bright confusions of man's loud singing, bramble rose, cowslip, foxglove, torn up forage in teeth, ripped up babbies, eyes pulled through, morning troscuro, seeking, circling, too high for syllables to speak. Billy owl, Jenny owl, willow owl, gilly white barn owl, monkey face, silver owl, steeple owl, billy wise, barn owl, dobby owl, hobby owl, hobgoblin, ghost owl, barn owl, golden owl, banshee, church owl, death owl, barn owl. Tito Alba, Tito Alba, Tito Alba. After the horses. Seas, wind, meadows, weathers, swallowed by an unknown jaw, shrieking, blue, grey and grey halo, fountains of black, 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 acid rains, 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 dissolved every frost that there ever was, ever had been, ever vessing in torchlight, beamlight, heat, heat, heat of new suns, guzzling every squalling billow blast, blow, 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 blow of shredded shrapnel confetti, catching lightning strobe sky like new stars, illuminating heaving viscosities of smog, smokes, vapours, devoured us in the front of the fluff that had held us in suspended stasis. Through bite marks, wrenched up roots, mangled metal swirled in bile, reeked around shadows thrown against boiling moons. We, dumbstruck, crawled with burning bloods. Cancer, 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 diffusing into shave, skies, creatures, pastures, grasses, grabbed, wild, life, death, already melted critters, splinters, teased ferociously, making us sleepy. Eerie entertainment gurgled in our ears. We needed that. We had forgotten how to believe our eyes. Role play. I had on a couple of occasions indulged you in conversations about your art. But today you were talking about your toil, your commute, and the all too needy students who had been overly mothered. They sit in your time like shiny pebbles damming the sea. You are the unwilling seaweed flung against their face. You think of them as elves, and you Father Christmas. But they are the kiddies desperate to sit on your lap and prove they've been good. Then you said, and I didn't know if I'd heard it, but you had, you wondered whether you had a case for pay discrimination. You were in the union. You thought it was a good sound case, actually. Most men in your position, with your experience, get offered the senior post straight away. And you wondered why you were stuck at the top of one scale, unable to make it over the stile. There was no helping hand to help heave you over. And now you knew how it felt to be one of those women. Then you said, look at this video. I didn't know it would be you stroking your nipples. I realised then that you too were a kid, sat on the lap of an older guy who is dressed up and muffling, pretending to know you and pretending to care. Was it more socially awkward to watch you tease your nipples to the sound of bad music, or to stand next to one another, both heads turned down, both muffling, hoping to be the good kiddies? You didn't know how to audibly exhale through flared nostrils either. I looked at you then, sat in half hero, half lotus pose, and I thought, what a fragile little Barbie eunuch you are. I have forgotten. It's not about me. The smell of the world when thick, with ice and light. It pinched my lungs, washed my face. The shape of the world when sandwiched between blues, reds, stamps birds in black. It lashed me to space, fixed me below. The softness of the world when ribboned with dandelions and daisies. Dirt stuck to my gums as I rolled. When I feel anxious, I listen for the wind. Murmurs froth through the broken seal. I stand by the kettle, hear rumblings in my stomach. If only. Licks the left side of my face, whip away, bend double, flay forward, cheerleading pom-poms, earth me, then twist away, interrupted by the clock. I try to be still, rooted, unfastening, slack, lack of intention, yet knitted, knotted to the frame. Come again. Summer evening before. I guess I hadn't noticed that the bees had stopped. Nature is noisy, so I don't know how I missed it. No one thought the flowers would die. Even when the heat came, there was no colour. There was no colour that summer. How did I miss it? There was no pure blue sky, no monstrous rhododendrons, azalea, clematis, buddleia, freesia. Not a single buttercup to hold to see if she liked butter. Not a single daisy to make a chain for her bony wrist. There. I've said all the flowers I know. Did the grass smell? I did not get the itch and it didn't need cutting. It was golden, but without energy and relativity to produce glow. No twilight, no twinkle. A miniature harvest of straw blades stood there, crispy underfoot, yet without sound. There were no noisy bees, so there could be no crunchy lawns. The sky was a padded duvet pressing down on us, holding us tight to stop our reach, our spread, our busy virility. If it couldn't breathe, neither could we. Made of charged nylon, you couldn't look up because you might be zapped by the dark light that slinked between the fleece. The clouds didn't clear and the red, purple, pink, orange sky never came at night. No shepherd's delight, no warning. One day it rained. Was it about 6:30 p.m? Everyone, everything else had gone. I remember a sound on my roof. Nature is noisy. Perhaps this cleared the clouds. I didn't stop. How do I know this was rain? Hundreds of brushstrokes licking the taut surface of a bass drum, stippling the skin of an overblown balloon. I saw dust on the windowsill, the colour of Barcelona, like she had crushed up her chalks again, leaving the crumbs to show me how to find her, and choosing the colour of blood oranges and empress silk. There was colour. There was warning. I rubbed it between my fingers. If I look closely, the colour remains in the swirling ridges of my fingerprint. Dust covered the ground outside like when snow falls as flurries and then becomes bigger, thicker. The bigger ones stick because of the tiny, almost unnoticeable flurries underneath. It lay on the ground like the first falls of burnt snow, the air full of dust and the clouds that pressed. This was the only rain there was, the only rain there could be. I drove through pink smoke. Pomegranate dust whipped into the air against the blanked out canvas of the duvet sky. There was colour. It could have been one of her drawings. Candy floss plumes filled the page. Inside the clouds is where she said the magic happened. Was this magic? When I close my eyes, the picture blurs, and I can no longer see her face, her eyes, her perfect bow-shaped lip, that prominent M-shaped bow, and the delicately upturned nose, the family nose, my nose. I stroke my nose then, and now, pretend it's hers. Everything was bathed in dust, like I'd blown my blusher compact, and all of the tiny fragments of cerise shimmer had landed on crisp white fittings and furnishings. Hot splatters against plastics like spray paint. Was it powder or grit? I did not feel a sense of dramatic foreboding. There was no warning, remember? I did not think of flamingos, French rose, fuchsia, lavender, watermelon, salmon, peonies, peaches, poppies, strawberries, raspberry, honeysuckle, geraniums, cherries, coral, carnations, cherry blossom, conch shell, quartz, amethyst, sun-kissed, dusky wood, bosombberry blood. What about her blushing ballet slippers? I opened the door to the lounge. The curtains weren't quite meeting. A Milky Way of dust. I had forgotten the bees, the flowers, the grass, the rain. It did not feel like home or childhood. Then she was there, waving in violet winds, tall. Aubergine, heather, mulberry, orchid, bending, stretching, saluting the sun, small buds turning, twirling, blushing bells ringing, flouncing skirts, teasing, acid yellow, purple dapples, periwinkle pockets, ready to jig, elf-like kicking, upwards on heels, apple green, neon whiff, foxglove riff. For now, namaste. They are the world.